Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode 317. I am Brendan. UFC 292. Aljamain Sterling taking on Sean O'Malley. All right, we're going to break down that fight and the rest of the main card here. If you're looking for the prelims, it's in the next video. Real quick before we get into it, subscribe to the channel so that way you know when the next video is coming out. It helps me out, and if you like this video, hit the like button. I appreciate it. Let's get into it. If you're looking for a certain fight breakdown, timestamps are down below. All right. I don't know if I've waited the obligatory length of time before I give away spoilers. Spoilers here. Holy Nikes. What happened? I couldn't believe it after I saw it. I couldn't believe it. Sean O'Malley ends up doing it. It's not that I didn't think it could happen. It's just it wasn't on my mind of likely possibilities. I just did not see the fight. Even the first round is not how I saw it going, right? So Sterling with the low kick and the pressure. Sterling started to open up a lot, throwing lots of kicks. Nice right hand. Nice right hand to the body from O'Malley. O'Malley landed some front kicks to the body. The crowd. Gotta love the crowd, huh? Oh, good grief. They start chanting F you, Aljo. O'Malley was doing a good job so far at distance management. Sterling was going to the well with those low kicks over and over, but it was landing for him, so why not? O'Malley with lots of feints, always, and looks always like oh man. He's got this thing where he does feints, and then he does these like jittery lookaways. Right, he glances off to one side, and it works for him. It's almost like I think it comes from basketball, from him playing basketball. When you look to one side and you pass to the other, or you look one direction and then cross over to the other. He does it a lot, but you could tell he started to get comfortable in this round because he was doing that quite a bit near the end of the round. Or midpoint probably. And then Sterling shot in for a takedown with 23 seconds left. First round, it wasn't the most exciting, but it was obviously Sterling's round. He had a 10-9. Look at the striking numbers here, 13-8. Not a ton, right? He didn't land a ton of strikes, but enough. And that little bit of pressure at the end just, pushed him over the edge. Because this is what he gets into when you get into the nitty-gritty. If two guys land the same amount of strikes, or the same amount of, more importantly, the same amount of damage in a round, there's no takedowns, so there's nothing. It's really just who controlled the octagon. And then I wrote down, like, going for the takedown at the end of the round was smart. He could feel it out, steal the round if it was close, and kind of just get a feel for it. And maybe that's what he was going for. Second round here, Sterling was aggressive right away, moving in on a takedown immediately. He didn't get the takedown, but he went in there. So O'Malley was looking in. He looked pretty good in that initial defense, grabbing from the far hand, not letting him get his hands clasped, and circling out to defend against a takedown. But O'Malley landed a right hand, and Sterling goes down. That's it. As he was backing up and avoiding the left hand, like Sterling, he reaches so far forward, and he like steps in and throws this big left hand, and O'Malley just outside of it moves, touches the hand, comes back, and he plants. And you can even see too when Aljo's moving in, he throws his shot, and he realizes he's about to get hit, and he's like, It was really cool. A beautiful sequence, amazing finish. Stoppage was a little bit early, but I get it. Sterling, if you look at the sequence, how it was going, right? O'Malley gets on top of him. He's laying down some ground and pound. Then Sterling, at one point, takes a couple shots, and then he rolls over to try and get back up. But the way Mark Goddard saw it is like he rolled over and he was giving up, right? He was saying like, okay, that's the end of it. Crazy sequence of events that led to the end of that. crazy just that it happened, not that it's never been done before or anything like that. It's just really, really weird. I just didn't see that happening. Didn't see it happening. Beautiful fight from O'Malley. Sterling, and then after the fight, O'Malley calls out Chito Vera. Sterling says he might stick around now. He might go up to I still think he should move up a division, but he made a good point. He's like, if I got caught by O'Malley doing that, what do I think? He's like, what do you think Volkanovski's going to do to me? So he's got a good point there. It's interesting. We'll see what happens. I think I'd be okay with Sterling going up a weight class. Sean O'Malley fighting Chito. Here's the thing. The only reason he's going to fight Chito Vera. Vera won at 6. He beat Pedro Munhoz at 10. Right? Is that really going to move him up? Maybe slightly. Who should he be fighting? He should be fighting Corey Sandhagen. But I think Sandhagen just had to have surgery on his arm. Henry Cejudo, I think he had surgery, or he's got something going on with him. And Merab, I think, also had surgery. So Piotr Jan is coming off of a loss, so he needs to fight somebody. I think Piotr Jan and Marlon Vera should fight. Because Sean O'Malley, dude, it doesn't make any sense. Marlon Vera's going to get a title shot because everybody's injured ahead of him. It's good timing. It's good timing. Great win for O'Malley. I think it keeps the division fresh without in its a definitive end, whereas a lot of Sterling's fights have been decision wins and split decisions. So it's a definitive passing of the torch. I think it'd be a good time for Sterling to move up, and especially because I wanted to see Merab Dvalishvili. I wanted to see him fight for the title, but I don't know if that's going to happen based off the scheduling right now. I think Merab is the uncrowned champ, but based off what I saw there, maybe not. Great fight, fun fight to watch in the second round. Weili Zhang versus Amanda Lemos. Oh boy. This was not a horrible fight by any means. It's more just when you see a one-sided beatdown like this, you're just like, do I need to watch the whole thing? Look at the striking numbers, man. Total strikes, 296 to 29. She landed 10 times the amount of total strikes. Woo! So Zhang catches a kick, puts her down, and gets into side control. Zhang landed some decent punches from half guard. Lemos attempts a ninja choke. They kept calling it a darce, but it's not a darce. From what I understand, you guys could tell me if I'm wrong. A darce choke is, there has to be an arm in, right? There's the darce, the anaconda, right? The anaconda, the locks on the outside of the shoulder, the darce, the locks next to the neck. But she didn't have an arm in. It was just across the chin, and they kept calling it a darce choke. I don't think that's a darce. I think, from what I've heard, that's a ninja choke. And she didn't get it. She just burned out her, she attempted it from half guard, which I've seen people do that before. It's more of just a threat to make the person adjust so you can escape with it. But anyway, Zhang gets on top and onto the back, landed some nasty ground and pound. I gave that first round a 10-8. You look at the striking numbers here, 44 to 1 for significant strikes. She spent 4 minutes and 33 seconds, 74 total strikes, one-way traffic. I guess you can call that a submission attempt. Some people were saying, and that's the thing is, if you don't understand that position, I could see why that looks bad. But if you look at where the choke was, there's one side where it's completely open. So it's not cutting off the blood, and it's not cutting off the air, and it's not crushing the trachea, right? It's just locking someone up into a figure four. And you can get a finish like that. You can if the anatomy is right. If your arms are just the right length and their neck is the right size and you've got the right angle, you can get a finish there, especially if they're not paying attention. But it wasn't close. Nice right hand landing from Lemos in the second round. Lemos overextends on a right hand, gets taken down with a body lock trip right into side control. Beautiful back take from Zhang from the front headlock. She just rotates over and then, so pretty. She gets on top again. Lemos back up, takes an elbow and a knees in the clinch, and then gets tripped again. Zhang, I got her up 20-17 after this round. 16-4 for striking numbers with another 3 minutes of control. No, 3 minutes and 47 seconds of control time. Next round. Zhang counters a right hand with a two-piece and a hard side kick to the gut. Lemos grabs the fence and tries to pressure, but gets taken down anyway. She tried to grab the fence and pull herself into it. We'll talk about that in the next fight as well. Zhang rides from side control over the top and back, right to the back. A beautiful transition. Lemos gets up, takes some more elbows in the clinch against the cage. Zhang landing a nice right hand as she steps in. Holy crap, this isn't even close, is what I wrote down. 20-5 for significant strikes in here. This round, there was less control time, only 3 minutes, 2 minutes and 58 seconds. I have her up 30-26. That first round, I had a 10-8. Let's see here. Lemos trying to pressure in, and Zhang landing side kicks and low kicks. Lemos is not throwing a lot here, but is allowing her to stay upright. This was her best round by far. A big right hand, a big right elbow lands from Lemos, and a right hand from Zhang to a takedown for Zhang. Lemos dives in on a headbutt and clinches hard. A high kick from Zhang. You could give this round to Lemos. It was close. I still lean towards Zhang, but I could see you giving this towards Lemos. So I wrote it down for Lemos. I figured, she landed those big strikes, and I think it was like a pity round. Like, hey, she's not getting her ass kicked this round. So I had it 39-36. Hard side kicks from Zhang to the legs and to the chest. A huge right hand from Zhang puts Lemos down, and she's unloading on her. Zhang gets to the back crucifix position, laying out ground and pound. Lemos gets out of it, stands up, and then a body lock throw, a side control from Zhang. Good grief. Zhang using knees to the side she set the record for the largest strike differential in women's MMA history in this fight. And if they give if they gave a 10-7 to the Ian Garry fight, they should be a 10-7 here, but they didn't. I looked it up afterwards. 55-1 for significant strikes, 4 minutes of control time. That's a 10-8 round. Let's just give it a look-see. Saul D'Amato, 8, 9-9-9-9, 8. Nick Mahmoud, 9-9-9, 10, 8. And then you got Chris Lee, 8, 9-9-9-9-9-9. Chris Lee gave the first round a 10-8, but not the last round when she got a knockdown and outstruck her by even more. That's not objective scoring. That's, she's already won this. Who gives a shit scoring? That's a bad card. That's a bad card, and no one's going to say shit. No one's going to say anything about that because the right person won. And no one's going to bat an eye because it seems like a legitimate scorecard. But if you break it down and look what he did, he gave the first round a 10-8, which was arguably closer than the last round. Not arguably, it was closer than the last round. And the first round wasn't even close, but it was still closer than the last round. So what's next for Zhang? Tatiana Suarez. That's all I want to see. That's all I want to see. Tatiana Suarez. I will have nothing else. All right, Neil Magny taking on Ian Garry. I talked about the lead up to this and, the hitting kids thing. If you want to go look that up, you can go look that up yourself and form your own opinion. I'm really not into it anymore. It's not something I want to focus on. It's not that I don't care about the subject. It's just that's not what I want to talk about right now. I just want to talk about the fight. So Garry kicked the leg out of Magny, and I wrote that he probably fell off balance because he was off balance. Another one, and Gary's hooking the back of the leg with his instep and pulling him. Nice job from Garry. Garry landing those low kicks a lot. Garry pressing Magny to the cage, grabbing over the outside of the cage, and grabbing the cage itself. Illegal both times you did it. 3 times you did it. 4 times you did it. That's illegal. You're not allowed to do it. Okay? to the point where in the second, when he does it again, he should have been a point deduction. Now that wouldn't affect the outcome of the fight, but the score wise. But in each one of those moments, you cannot judge exactly what's going to happen based off of what you perceive is about to happen. Right? It changes everything. Maybe if he doesn't hold the side of the cage, Magny flips it around and puts him against the cage. And early on, maybe he tires him out now, and maybe Garry doesn't have the energy to do what he did in the later rounds. Do I think that was going to happen? No. But you don't know, and you can't say that. That's why you have to take the points. You have to penalize them immediately for infractions. Garry picked them apart the whole round, and he even got to cheat for free. So that's cool. 10-9, 20-8. Look at the striking numbers here. 11 leg kicks from Garry. He just eaten apart that leg. Magny was trying to pressure Garry, and Gary's just poking as he retreats, right? Just pop, 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 poking him, kicking the leg. Garry lands another low kick that hurt Magny really bad. Mind you, this is the second round. Magny gets a hold of him, presses him to the cage. Garry tries to run away, but Magny holds on to him and grabs the fence again, then grabs the fence, grabs the top of the cage, does Garry. So not only did he do it in the first round, does it again in the second round. Another great round of leg kicks and cheating from Garry. 31-11. I know I sound ridiculous when I'm just mentioning that stuff, because all this was leg kicks and fence grabs in the first two rounds. And the fence grab was momentary, but that's the highlight of the round for me. When you're grabbing the top of the fence and you're resting your arm over the top of the fence and you're grabbing the fence, that's illegal. You're not allowed to do that. And lots of leg kicks. Last round, Garry was just picking him apart. Magny hopping on one leg, still staying in there, and just Garry can't get him out. Garry landing a front kick to the face and gets a knockdown. Some nice eye gouges in there at the end. 30-27. Let's see here. The fact that he couldn't get a finish on one leg in Magny, it kind of shows me that he, it's not that he doesn't have killer instinct. He was trying to play safe and get the finish, and I don't think he had the awareness to understand that Magny wasn't throwing any big bombs. He wasn't going into danger, and the way he explained it, he's like, we see when people, they get carried away, and that's how they get knocked out. So that was dismantling him over 3 rounds. Sure, but you just you spammed low kicks. Let's not talk about it as if you picked them apart every which way possible and you were jabbing them and throwing stuff. Like, you threw some strikes in there, like some punches in there, and that's cool. But really, it was just the leg kicks, and they were effective. There's nothing wrong with it. Plenty of people have gotten finishes just from leg kicks, and it's an absolutely brutal technique. But when you watch someone just throw leg kicks, would you say like, oh man, that striking performance was something else? Probably not. I don't know. I'm just not a fan when someone has so little awareness that they're, blatantly cheating and then they don't get punished for it. It's kind of weird. Oh yeah, then he called out Stephen Wonderboy Thompson to see who the best striker in the division is. Even if he wins that, which I'm not going to root for him, obviously I'm going to be rooting for Wonderboy. Even if he wins that, all it's going to show in most people's eyes is that he's better than a 37-year-old Wonderboy. Damon Blackshear taking on Mario Bautista. Blackshear just fought 7 days ago, stepping up on very short notice here, trying to get a win. And now we start to get into some interesting scoring. So let's talk about stuff, shall we? They exchanged low kicks. Bautista's really swinging with that right hand. Blackshear goes for the body lock takedown. Can't get it, but drives to the cage with some knees to the body. Blackshear with the lift and the takedown into the guard at 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Bautista gets up, but Blackshear's landed more in the clinch. Nice hard kicks to the body and then legs from Blackshear. Blackshear with a double leg, right back up and then dumps him. Gets another one. Bautista going for a guillotine, but there's just nothing there on it. Blackshear with a nice front kick to the face with a really active round. Fantastic round for him. 29-19 in favor for striking numbers. in favor of Blackshear. He had the control time. He had 2 minutes and 28 seconds of control time, takedowns. He did all the things, right? Everything you can imagine, 10-9. Second round here, a couple nice inside low kicks again from Blackshear. Bautista attempts a takedown, but there wasn't anything there. They clinch, and both of them land some tight elbows. Bautista attempts another takedown. Blackshear turns it around on the cage. They exchange elbows again. Blackshear slowing down a little bit. Bautista's pressuring Blackshear, gets a takedown, and they're right back up. Better round for Bautista, but Blackshear put distance on him early in this round. Bautista didn't land enough with his pressure down the stretch, in my opinion. That's bored out here in the striking numbers, 40-32 in favor of Blackshear. I felt like he did more damage, and yeah, it was earlier in the round, but I don't. For the more casual viewers, a strike in the last 10 seconds is not worth more than a strike in the first 10 seconds. Okay, the round is scored as a whole. So if you land a big punch and knock someone down when the round starts, and then you get knocked down with a big punch when the round ends, it should be the same. It should be even. But anyway, I felt like Blackshear did enough damage early on in that round to keep himself really far out ahead, even though Bautista was closing in on him. And as the round ended, it made more sense to me that Blackshear, not made more sense. It was clear to me that Blackshear did more when he had the when he had the advantage. So I had him up 20-18. Last round here, Bautista's throwing hard right hands. Blackshear landing the low kicks. A nice right hand from Bautista are still really starting to land. Blackshear plants his feet in the middle for a second, starts throwing back. That saved him a little bit. I think that gave Bautista some pause, but Bautista finally able to get the takedown. Bautista doing a good job on the ground there. Back up with 40 seconds to go. Blackshear landing a hard right hand. Bautista gets another takedown. He takes the last round for sure. For sure. If you look at the striking numbers, you're 28-21. Seven strike differential. He had some control time in this last round, 2 minutes and 44 seconds. He had those takedowns. He did some good work. Clearly his round. Okay, this round is very similar to the first round as far as control time and the damage, a little bit of the damage done, right? But going the other way for Bautista. Now they gave this fight to Bautista. I don't agree with that. In fact, at the time, I was less upset about it than I am now. Saul D'Amato and Chris Lee both gave the second round to Bautista. Now, I think part of that is recency bias in their minds, right? You look at as the round is starting to end, that's what's close to your memory, and you think if there's an argument to be made that in the second round, Bautista, who landed less shots and had less control, was the one who did more damage. So there's an argument to be made for the second round, sure. For sure, the third round. All three judges gave that third round to Bautista, rightfully so. Second round, all three judges gave that to Bautista as well. I don't agree with that. Like I said, there's an argument to be made for it. Here's what's not acceptable. Steve Ritta, this incompetent jackwagon, gave the first round to Bautista. Let me repeat that for you. Steve Ritta, a guy getting paid to judge fights, gave the first round in which Bautista, who was on his back and got dominated on the ground for 2 minutes and 28 seconds. So that's half of the round. Got taken down 4 times and got outstruck by 10 strikes, which is more than the striking differential in the last round that they gave to the other guy. He gave that to Bautista. The only thing Bautista did better in that first round was striking percentage, which means nothing. That's just a percent of the strikes that you land. But if you only throw one and you land one, that's 100%. That doesn't mean shit. That is one of the worst scorecards I've ever seen. That's as egregious as someone getting the fight wrong. That's horrible. Horrible. That's bad. That's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, let's move on. That's ridiculous. Unacceptable. So shit. It's so gross, man. I don't understand. It's so bad. These fucking guys don't pay attention. All right, Marlon Vera versus Pedro Munhoz. This fight was fun. Classic Marlon Vera stuff, right? Staying on the outside, picking his shots, landing hard when he can. Pedro Munhoz staying active, trying to move his way inside. Munhoz looking for the low kicks and even the body kicks. The jab from Vera is giving Munhoz slight pause, but Munhoz still landing those low kicks. Vera landing some decent leg kicks too. Vera landing a nice right hand. His volume wasn't there early in the round. He started to pick it up as the round went on. Munhoz with the pressure the whole round. At worst, I could say they're even, but I thought that Munhoz... so if you look at the damage done in this first round, you could give it to Vera, absolutely. But you could give it to Munhoz too. I scored it for Munhoz. I felt like at worst they were even, and he was the one pressuring forward, and he was the one trying to be active, and he was the one who was trying to create more offense. I feel like he threw more shots, right? I think do you want to know why he lost this round? This is why. Marlon Vera landed 27 head strikes. Munhoz only landed 14. A majority of his hard strikes were to the legs. That's all it is. That's 100% what it is. We saw in the 2 fights later what leg kicks can do, but this is what it is. There's no difference. But if you look at the striking numbers here, 39-38 in favor of Vera. Very close round. I put more emphasis on those leg kicks. I thought some of them landed really freaking hard, harder than some of the jabs from Vera in this round. Okay, not as the fight went on, but in this round for sure. I thought Munhoz won this round. Second round here, Munhoz coming up with a kick up the middle into the body. Vera was more active to start this round. Munhoz was countering Vera's movement with a lead left hook. Munhoz is still more active. Anytime Vera finds something, Munhoz is coming back with 1 or 2 shots of his own. Vera landing some good shots, finding that straight every so often, but you got to figure the volume again. And then you look at the striking numbers again, 49-45 in favor of Vera. I don't know who is counting these. I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me. Based off of what I saw, I don't think those numbers are right. It could be. But here, again, 37 head strikes to 23 from Munhoz. That's how he wins these, man. That's how he wins these. That stiff jab, it was beautiful. And this last round, he really started to pick it up. Vera landing some really nice shots to start this round. Hard left jab, staggered Munhoz. Vera starting to put the damage on Munhoz. And then anytime Munhoz touches his nose, Vera shoots a... anytime Munhoz touches his nose or adjusted his pants, normally like there's a pause in between. Vera fires a jab like every time Munhoz goes to adjust. They're staying in the pocket. Vera landing some really hard shots, and Munhoz trying to fire back, but Vera took the last round for sure. It was super clear to me that he took this round 53-30, absolutely. You could give him that first round or the second, and I understand the 30-27 scorecard, which they read out. Nick Mahmoud and Marcel Valera both gave all 3 rounds to Vera. Ben Cartledge was the only one who gave the second round to Munhoz. Chito's ability to not move his head while being hit really gives the impression of 0 damage. He's a guy who wears damage really well. A guy who just, doesn't have any big reactions, doesn't really move very much, and it appears that he takes no damage during a fight. So, he wears it really well. He doesn't get cut up. So, I could see him getting all 3 rounds now that I'm looking at the numbers, but when I was watching it live, I felt like Munhoz was landing way more. I thought he landed more in the first round. I thought he landed more in the second round, but I could be mistaken on that. That's how I scored. I scored it the first 2 rounds for Munhoz and the last round for Vera. But again, if you gave if you gave Vera one of those rounds, but Vera for sure won the last round. It was the first 2 rounds that were relatively close, so that makes sense to me. All right, that is it for the main card. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know if you guys are excited for the Sean O'Malley era to see him maybe take on Marlon Vera here. Subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of stuff. That way you know the next video is coming out. I put out 2 or 3 videos every single week breaking down fights. I appreciate y'all. We'll see you in a couple weeks. I am going on vacation, so I will not be home for a little bit. So love y'all. Have an amazing week.